Welcome back, everyone, to my weekly series where I introduce you to new games to check out on Roblox. This is episode 26, which means, you guessed it, there's 25 other episodes you gotta go watch because there's a lot of great games on Roblox that you're missing out on. If you're thinking Roblox is dry, boring, whatever, you just haven't been watching this series. So head on over to that playlist. I will link it on the top right as well as in the description below. Now, this week we have some crazy good games. I'm telling you, dude, this is probably one of the best episodes I've done. Like, there's some games in here I literally just want to stop recording so I can go and play them. Yeah, I mean, this is taking me away from some fun, okay? Now, if you enjoyed discovering new games to play on Roblox, please support the series by hitting that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Also, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos like this one. And just a reminder, yeah, I do lots of different games throughout the week, and then this is a weekly series. So every week I post a new one of these, usually with 10 games in them, unless for some reason we have a shortage of good games. Now, generally speaking, I don't do a whole lot of simulators. I thought I would do less tower defense games, but we got one tower defense game. I'm sorry, I had to, okay? You'll see why. So I've rambled enough. Let's get straight into these games. Now, we do have a couple scary games. I moved those all the way to the end of the video, so you won't have to see those. Same with some of the shooters. There's only a couple non-shooter games, and the rest are kind of violent, okay? If you like violence, then great. If you don't, I'm sorry. I can't make the games for you. You know, I'm just posting them. I'm just sharing the information. But first up, we do have a new game that is not Bubblegum Simulator 2, which I thought we would have, but instead it's Pet Catchers by the makers of Bubblegum Simulator. Now, this is not the first time the Bubblegum Sim devs have made a new game. They've done lots of different games. They did like a tower defense game. They did like, I mean, who hasn't by now? But they did like a Dungeon Quest style game. They did, man, I've lost track. But Pet Catchers is a new game by the BGS devs, Rumble Studios. And this game, I actually didn't like it at first, okay? No offense, but I wasn't a big fan. I legit just kind of jumped out of the game within the first, like, I want to say like minute. I didn't really give it a chance. And the reason being is this game's all about like Pokemon style catching of pets. Although it is different, okay? I went back in for you, okay? I went back in this game so I could feature it in this video because you all want me to do that, right? So yeah, I had to do this. And of course, it's different. It's different than Pokemon. I thought it was going to be really slow. I thought it was going to be like all about turn-based battles and stuff like Pokemon is, where you got to like, you know, fight this other creature and capture it. And it kind of has some of those elements, which is why it's called Pet Catchers. But it's really dumbed down or simplified where you just need to use the right, you know, Pokeball kind of thing. I don't know what they call them. In the first area, you're not really battling any other creatures or pets. I'll just call them pets. But later on, you start attacking things like slimes. And then, you know, eventually there's a really cool boss fight with a Slime King. That gave me a little bit of Islands vibes. It felt like it was like kind of core from the Diamond Mines as well as the Slime King kind of combined. It was pretty cool. I liked it. It's really cool to see that battle. I just felt like it had a little bit more variety than what we typically see in Pet Sim. And Pet Simulator is a lot different. It was nice and fresh that this game was not just another ripoff of Pet Sim. Although they do have a hoverboard, and that was kind of like maybe a homage or kind of a nod towards Pet Simulator because obviously the hoverboard, that's the way you get around in Pet Sim. So if you like games with pets and you liked BGS, you should head over and check out Pet Catchers. Now, our next game is a tower defense game. This is a game by my friend Numerous, who's also a star creator. He usually makes Pet Sim videos and other simulator videos, but this is his game, and it is based on the POW World franchise, although I think with a twist since some of these look different. So POW Tower Defense is exactly what I just said. It's another tower defense game where, of course, you need to summon the different POWs. It was pretty easy to play, honestly, and pretty fun. But yeah, there's lots of tower defense games out there. This one was just an interesting one. I liked it. It was pretty fun. And it is by my friend Numerous. Go check it out. Give him some love. Now we're entering the gun zone, okay? There's a little bit of shooting, not a lot of shooting, but it's pretty violent. And this next game is called Push People Off a Train, which is pretty descriptive of what you do in this game. I actually like this one a lot. It felt a little bit like slap battles on a train. So ultimately you spawn on a train and you need to slap people off or hit people off or knock them off. There's different types of items you can use. I think initially all you can do is push, and then eventually you get a slap, and then eventually you can also get like different items based on your progression in the game. You can also buy items. I ended up buying this like Bruh Bar, which is like looks like a lightsaber, and it does pretty good damage and knockback. But you can kill players on this so that you can get points, and ultimately you're just trying to win the rounds. And I believe if you win like 5 rounds, you get like a really cool block, which does crazy damage. I've seen people like nuking people or bombing people on the train. I think you can get like a grenade or bomb somehow. And ultimately, it's just fun. It's like slap battles. It's not really meant to be taken seriously. I mean, if anyone thinks there's sweat in this game, I would probably laugh because that's just a funny idea. I mean, ultimately, it's just a slap fest, okay? You're just trying to push people off a train. And the nice thing about this game, at first I thought it was going to be like last person standing. So if you fall, you know, you're eliminated and you got to wait for the next round. But that's not the case. This game is pretty much time-based. So you have to just keep knocking people as much as you can during the timer. And once the time runs out, you got to wait for intermission. You can, you know, buy some stuff and equip yourself for the next round. So if you're a fan of slap battles, check this one out. It's called Push People Off a Train. Our next game is called Murder Time. This one is pretty crazy. So it's almost like tag, but worse. So ultimately what happens is everyone goes inside of a match or arena. So every 20 seconds, the murderer changes. You may never become the murderer, even in these 20 seconds, because the matches are pretty short timed. Like I think they're like 3 minutes or so. And you just need to survive during that time. Or if you become the murderer, you got to kill as many people as you can. And then, you know, after that, you got to survive the murderer. So it's pretty nutty. It's fast paced. You could do a dash, which is really nice. Feels a little bit like, you know, using Uzi or a mobility kit inside Bed Wars, but it's not exactly easy because once the timer gets pretty close to being done, everyone starts becoming the murderer. It's pretty nutty. It's almost like last person standing. And yeah, I kind of got murdered, man. I tried my best, but if you survive long, then you get a lot of coins as well. I did hide from the murder as long as I could. And then at some point I became the murderer and stood there like a dummy, not realizing I was the killer. And some dude's just hanging out with me. I'm like, oh, you're dead. So yeah, it's pretty fun though. I liked it. You should go check it out. Our next game is basically murder mystery, but not. So this game is called Murder Mayhem. I mean, it just feels like murder mystery. It's all about fast reflexes and accuracy. And this game's kind of like that. I mean, you got a knife, you got a gun, and you shoot people or you can stab them in the face. But ultimately, you need to kill the other player and rack up as many points. It feels like kind of Arsenal meets knives and a pistol. But the map looks cool. The, you know, mechanics were fun. It's fast paced. Most people like the simplicity of it. You know, it might not be for me because I want to, you know, customize my scopes and loadouts and stuff. But there's games like that for me. And there's games like this for people who like the simplicity, like slap battles, you know. But yeah, check out Murder Mayhem. You're gonna dig it, I think, especially if you like Arsenal or you like murder mystery. All right, so I did say this is one of the best episodes in a bit now, and yes, it's because of this game and a couple other games coming up, okay? But this game is amazing. This next game is called Aftermath. Now, we've seen the survival games on Roblox. Typically speaking, you jump in, you get killed within the first 2 minutes of the game, you get sniped in the face. I mean, literally, how many survival games have you played like that where you like spawn on the beach with nothing and then you got to go loot things and use a rock to break, you know, other rocks and trees, and then some guy just, you know, comes running up behind you and just knocks you in the head with his rock, and then you got to respawn with nothing, and you just spent the last hour trying to break trees and rocks. Yeah, those survival games, those terrible survival games. Well, Aftermath is here, okay? Aftermath solves so much of that. Now, before I even say much more about this game, I just want to warn you, it is paid early access. Of course, eventually they're going to make it free. They did say in their description that they have free access during the weekend, so I'm guessing they shut it off so it's not paid over the weekend. I don't know if that's always the case, but that's pretty cool. So keep an eye on their Discord or their announcements, or even just bookmark the page and check in on it. If you don't have Robux and you don't want to pay the $2 or 200 Robux that they have, then just go wait for it to be free. But seriously, Aftermath is a really cool game. It's based on a post-apocalyptic style zombie world, and so everything's abandoned, and it gave me a little bit of H1Z1 vibes without the battle royale aspects. So you spawn randomly in the world. You can always hit M to see where you're at in the world, so you can kind of go to a, you know, city. It is PvP, but it's not as crazy or cutthroat as some of the other PvP games I've played. But I did get killed during this video recording, and I lost a bunch of stuff, which was kind of a bummer. I kind of feel like some survival games should fix that, give you like maybe a place you can kind of extract yourself to go and save your loot. Maybe that's possible in this game. I didn't see a way, but it would be really nice to be able to store your loot so that you don't get like completely destroyed on your inventory. Like, I would like to have a little bit of establishment of my inventory that I just spent forever looting and all these weapons that I found. But I mean, that's the whole style of survival games. You want to survive and you want to get bigger, better, and not die to randoms like I did, okay? But inside Aftermath, ultimately you're going around, you're looting stuff, you're, killing zombies, you're avoiding people. And of course, you got to manage your hunger, you got to manage your thirst. You do have stamina, you have health. You could also bleed out, so you got to be careful. So if you get like shot at or whatever, you get severely injured, you do need to get, you need to med up so you're not bleeding anymore. So they have like bandages. They also have antibiotics so you don't, get infections and stuff. Looting was really cool. You can also get, different backpacks to expand your inventory or space that you can hold. You can also get weapons. You can get, ammo for your weapons. So there's like shotguns, there's pistols. I had like a silencer on my pistol at one point. I mean, even the city is really detailed. Like I went into an arcade that was all decked out, and they just really put in a lot of heart into this game, I can tell. But going back to what I said with survival games, the problem is with these games, the reason why most of these games can't hold people, they will rage quit if they lose their stuff. Once you invested like an hour of trying to gather a bunch of cool stuff and then you lose it all, it's kind of unfortunate, right? So that's what we're talking about here. If you lose all your stuff, then it's kind of a bummer. You'll probably never go back to the game. And I haven't gone back to the game in a moment. I'll probably go in a couple more times. Maybe you lose like 50% of your stuff, or maybe you lose like, 80% or 90% of your stuff. But at least having a couple things to respawn with would be nice instead of losing everything. But yeah, like I said, check out Aftermath. Keep an eye on it. Favorite it. Check it out. Now, our next game is Guardians Battle Arena, and this is a multiplayer online battle arena game. It gave me a little bit more League of Legends vibes than Dota, but this game is really, really cool. So Guardians are essentially your heroes or champions that you can, select at the start of the game. And this is a 5v5 game, which means it's going to be kind of dead. I mean, I know that sounds terrible, but, 5v5 is going to be really hard for you to find. But the cool thing about this game is it's okay if there's no other players online. You could still play the game. Not as fun without, real players, but you can actually go in, play the game. And I think that this game got a little bit of attention and love. It could pop off on Roblox. It has an opportunity, but PvP games already have a challenge of just staying alive. And a 5v5 is obviously going to be challenging for a MOBA. I mean, these matches can take 10 minutes. So there's not going to be like 5 people sitting around for 5 minutes. They're going to go and jump in a game. The nice thing, though, about this is that you can go in solo if you want, and you can, practice the game. You could try out the different heroes, and maybe you can get your friends to come in and, play with you. But I did recommend to the devs to maybe come up with like a 1v1 mode, which I think would help a lot, especially with traffic. Either way, I've been waiting for a MOBA like this to come on Roblox for so long. And it's really, really cool to see it finally here. This is a game that I personally would have loved to make on Roblox. Someone beat me to it. So if you've never played a MOBA before, these are really, really fun. I'm just going to give you kind of an overview of the objectives. So ultimately, both teams have a base or core, and you need to destroy that. But you can't attack the enemy's core unless you clear one of the lane's towers. So there's a top lane, a mid lane, and a bottom lane. And if you destroy all the towers in one of those lanes, you can reach the core. Now that sounds real simple, but it's not, because the towers will attack you, especially if you don't have any minions there. They call them creeps. And if you take out an enemy tower, then the minions get stronger. Also, you can earn coins by killing enemy minions. With that money, you can go back to your base, go to the shop, get upgrades to your damage, your speed, your armor. You can upgrade your HP caps and such, and you can also buy like health potions and stuff, and that'll just help you and your hero be able to take out the enemy. Now, each hero has a series of abilities, kind of like Bed Wars kits, in that they all have different abilities. So it's a lot of fun just going through each of those and just seeing what they can do. I used an archer, which was pretty fun to use, and I got pretty OP in this match, and I kind of worked my clan. Unfortunately, I invited my clan into the game and they kind of got worked. I'll probably play this as an event game for my clan because I like the style game a lot. Now, our next game is called Survive Chucky's Nightmare. This is the start of the scary games, by the way. This one wasn't really scary, but if you're scared of spiders, yeah, it's kind of scary. Most of these creatures are pretty gross looking too. So, I mean, we're starting from like kind of gross to scary in the next couple games. It is called Griefville though. So the game's name is actually Griefville. And then within it, yeah, you do have a Chucky experience. And I'm assuming they got sponsored. I don't know that it's a Chucky game. It seems like they just got sponsored, or maybe it's trademarked material. I don't really know what's going on here. I would imagine, I mean, it looks copyrighted, it looks official. So I don't know if it's some kind of sponsorship or partnership. Either way, it's really cool looking. And in this game, it's a lot about doing quests and looting around the map, killing different minions or mobs, or we'll call them monsters actually. Also, inside this experience, you can do a nightmare kind of mini game. Essentially, you just need to go to the center area and you'll see this red dome in the middle. So if you look in the sky, you'll see kind of like a circle, like storm, kind of like Stranger Things, and head towards the middle of it, and you'll find this red dome. Enter the red dome, and you are queued in for the next nightmare experience. And they change up. I've only seen 2 of them. There might be more of them, but I only saw the Chucky one, which is kind of like a random killer versus everyone. They gotta, you know, you can become Chucky and needed to hunt down everyone and kill them all. And then another one was like a spider wave defense game with this huge spider, giant spider in the sky. It was so cool. Like, this game is stunning. The production quality of this game is unbelievable, but with that comes a cost, and that is lag and just slow loading. Every single time I would reload the game, meaning I get teleported back from the nightmare or just want to enter the game, period, it felt like the game was constantly lagging and trying to load. Like, all these models and meshes took forever, and most of you who have been watching me for a long time know how beefy of a system I have. I have a really good computer. I have a really good video card. I can play any game out there right now. I don't have issues with performance on my computer. This game was just testing my performance. It took forever to load, dude. I had this room that just wouldn't render for me. I didn't know how to get out because the walls, man, there's too many meshes in here. They need to do a performance pass on this game if they want to survive Griefville, which is more like griefing your computerville. But seriously, this game is a lot of fun. I liked it. Very nicely done. Now, we're entering a couple of horror games, okay? These are really fun, though. So the first one is Tooth Fairy. This is a story-based game where you have to go and look around. Essentially, you're just trying to go to sleep, but you need to kind of go around the house, and you need to find keys, and ultimately this Tooth Fairy thing is kind of stalking you in the, you know, darkness and try to do jump scares on you. And I kind of got stuck in this one. Like, I got bugged out in the attic. I don't know why. Maybe it's for me, but I kind of got soft locked on this. It didn't feel like a piggy style game, so it wasn't like he was, you know, gonna kill you if you just took too long. It was just more of like a follow along the story, do your quests and tasks, and then you're gonna get jump scared. Although it did say you will die and that this is a hard game, so maybe I was just still warming up to the scary stuff. So yeah, go check this out. I'm not gonna get jump scared by this game because I'm not gonna finish it. Okay, maybe I will. Maybe I'll go back later. Now, finally, one of my favorite games out of all of these games. This next game is called Terror Byte. And no, not Terra Bright. No, that's DJ and Sabrina, okay? This is not RB Battles. This is Terror Byte. And this game's kind of, it feels like retro. Very simple style game, and it's got a lot of character to it. You need to go and complete tasks on a computer while, you know, not getting killed by these monsters. And I did not succeed in doing that. I got killed many times, okay? And there's many types of monsters in here depending on what you're doing. So, for example, there's while you're doing your tasks on your computer, because you need to like play these mini games, and ultimately you just need to try to complete 100% of your progress with just playing these little mini games. And that's not so easy because you need to, you know, keep an ear out for any like sounds, and you gotta like be careful of the actions. You're just gonna keep dying to stuff, and you're gonna learn your mistakes, and you gotta start over. And that's the style game. Or you could pay Robux to revive, of course, which I would do. But there's different types of things that, you know, can kill you. You've got the window monster, which is the most common one. So you got to listen for the windows sliding up. And if the window's sliding up, then you got to, you know, exit your computer, go over there, close it as fast as you can, because if he climbs all the way up and sees you, then he's going to kill you. And then there's another monster that kills you. He's called a stalker. And if you order stuff to your apartment too many times, instead of like putting it in front of other people's apartments, you could get killed from him. Actually, you will get killed from him, because I did get killed from him, and he said to not do that. There's also a hacker thing, so if you get hacked on your computer, you need to go hide, or else you're gonna get killed by the hacker. And there's just all kinds of different monsters in here. Really fun game. I like it. Kind of feels like Five Nights Freddy, but not. It's just way easier, and it's just a fun game. In fact, it's popping off on Roblox right now. It's so good. Anyway, again, thank you so much for all of you who suggested games. Thank you. Also, if you have any new games you want to suggest, definitely do so in the comments below. Please make sure it's less than a year old. I keep getting these suggestions for games that are made in like 2015, 2017. Man, I don't know about you, but that's like a long time ago, okay? That's a long time ago for being a new game suggestion. So please keep it to new games if you can. That'll save me a lot of pain and suffering when I'm trying to prepare for this video. Anyway, thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.